What's up, brother?
We back at it again with the Lions Den. Today's topic is gonna be Black Panther. It's been sweeping the nation, been sweeping the world. A lot of black cast appearing in that movie right there. And it's been a lot of money that's been made off that particular comic movie. What's your input on it?
Well, I mean, when you look at some of the contributions that Africans in general throughout the diaspora has made to the onward march of civilization, you have to be quite frank and quite honest and say that we have done marvels. We have basically shocked the world. Now, what happens is when you stifle or when you hinder people from achieving their full potential or their full ability, what you do is you miss out on your blessings. I think the studio and the producers that allowed Ryan Googler, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, who's a young man from Oakland, California, to, get this movie out here and direct it. And from a perspective of Afrocentric perspective, I think that you begin to see, the great talent and the great wonder that is in the genetics of the people throughout the diaspora. The Afrocentric people. Now, the misconception is that I heard some of the criticism about the movie. Well, he killed his own brother. Well, all they did was fight. Every time they wanted to go, instead of just having elections and doing it the Democratic way, they fought for superiorship and for monarchy and so on and so forth, and to be the monarch. And I was like, so they did the same thing in the Spartans. They did the same thing in the movie, dealing with Alexandria, dealing with Napoleon. But when we does it from an Afrocentric perspective, how do we not know that this is where most of the European movies that we see on ancient Rome and on Julius Caesar and Napoleon and Alexander the Great, how do we not know that they got their style from our ancestry?
Right.
From our African ancestors. If you think about it for a minute, Africa is considered the Golden Crescent.
Well,
okay, so when you think about, our people, and you think about the ability and the talent that we have, it becomes increasingly apparent, to anyone who's looking at it from a bird-eye view, as small as a bird-eye view, that these people are extremely intelligent. These people are extremely talented. So, we look at the brother and we look at how he was able to, capture, the ancient rituals in which, our ancestors would use in order to, go for what they call a rite of passage from boyhood to manhood. Because if you notice, when the movie started off, he was a prince. But he didn't become a king until after he rivaled, the guys that were in the jungle, the guy that challenged him. And then he proved that he was a king. But I find it ironic for, people in general, whether they're black or white, to be talking about, well, why do they have to fight for superiority? Why do they have to go against each other? Why do they have to literally kill each other? Well, if you look at a pack of lions, the lioness, the female lioness doesn't follow a weak lion. It's the strong lion. The lion that defeats and literally kill the other lion. If the other lion don't walk away, they will fight to death.
Yeah.
Just for that superiority to become that alpha male. If you look at the crocodile does the same thing. And it's throughout the whole nature. You see many species fighting for that alpha male superiority position. So this is nothing to do with Africans or Romans or Greeks or Russians. This got something to do with nature. Nature rewards the strongest man, the strongest person. And the person who exhibits the most strength is the one who is qualified to be king or lead the people. So when people have this negative connotation, or when they're speaking negatively about he killed his own brother or so on and so forth, even in the Bible, we hear about how Cain slew Abel.
Yeah.
So we know it's not odd that brothers fall out of love with one another. Their brothers feud. Their brothers get into confrontation. It just so happened that I don't think, even if you look at the movie, he didn't try to kill his brother intentionally. The brother pulled a pistol out. He defended himself and killed his brother. They said that, they were fighting. They were fighting for superiority. But did you look at the beauty? Did you look at how those people were standing up and how those mountains and how those different tribes were sitting in the background? Man, that was the most beautiful scene that I've ever seen in my life. And obviously, it was 98% of white people at the movie with me, and they also agreed. At the end of the movie, not only did the white people clap, but they was in awe. They was like, wow. Because we often see Superman. We often see Spider-Man. We often see Aquaman. We see all of these white, Iron Man. We see all these white fictitious heroes. They give young white boys, little bitty white kids, give them some hope, make them feel superior, make them feel like, maybe one day I can go up and save the world. But we don't have no black superheroes. So to give this young man, Ryan, an opportunity from Oakland, which we know Oakland has its own problems in terms of black-on-black crime, to give this man that position and this man to reign supreme and become number one in the box office. They said that if he would have done it on Valentine's Day, that he would have shattered every record. But because it didn't happen on Valentine's Day, and he had what they would call a Friday, Sunday weekend, and partially Monday weekend, because of that, and he didn't have the advantage of Valentine's Day or the holiday, that, his numbers somewhat was tainted. But at the end of the day, even with that disadvantage, he still beat out most of the people, some of the biggest things out there. I think he did better than Deadpool. He did, I think it was 48% better than Deadpool. He did 148% better, no, he did 58% better than Deadpool. He did 148% better than 50 Shades of Grey. And if you look at Spider-Man and some of the other movies that came out, there was great big box hitters. He did greater than them in that era. So like Spider-Man did $201 million, but if you would have added up the prices and what moviegoers were willing to pay, back in that time and what they would have paid for this movie, and you look at it in terms of analytics and statistics, he still would have ended up doing like $425 million back then. So he did $248 million. Okay. Almost $252 million, still counting. So we know that he broke every box office record, in the industry. So, to give young African Americans, males, a black superhero, and particularly, the name is relative, a Black Panther. I think that within itself was, a blessing and a jewel, because now you're going to have young African American males who are going to grow up and they're going to say, to become Black Panther means to become king. And another thing that, people missed in the movie is that the city, Uganda, where all this took place at, in Africa was one of the most technologically advanced societies in the world. They were actually able to cure death. So what was that? What was the message there? The message there was that not only are there, and you had to go through a certain, electrical force to get to the city, and it was a hidden city. Didn't nobody really know the city exists. American CIA supposed to have knew something about it, but most people, in the general, it was kept a secret because they were so technologically advanced. And to most people, when they think of Africa, they think of savage. They think of, these people primitive and so on and so forth. But this city dispelled every myth that you can have about people of Africoid descent. So that was another thing, that was, interesting about the movie.
Now, Ken, tell me this. I ain't seen the movie, so I'm looking from the outside looking in. Tell me this, since you've seen the movie, I don't know if you've seen these other particular movies. Have you seen Spine?
No, sir.
Have you seen The Meteor Man with Robert Townsend?
No, sir.
Now, those were two black superheroes. So I mean, how does it? You know, I mean, now since you can't speak on it because you haven't seen that.
No, I'm not talking about black superheroes. I'm talking about where the scene was actually in Africa.
Okay.
And the scene was in. It was no scenes. It was maybe a minuscule scene in America. I'm talking about an African, not black. Let's get it clear. Black, we all know, ain't no such thing as black.
True.
You know, you say you're a black man, basically you saying, you know, you spotted, dotted. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no such country as black. But these were Africans in Uganda, which was the country that they named in the film. So these people were a technological society, advanced society. They had some of the most advanced technology known to mankind that with their technology, according to the director, with their technology, they could save the world. But they was holding this technology for themselves. So, but if the technology ever got into the regular society outside of this little halo or this ozone that they created for themselves, you know, it would actually cure the entire world. And the guy, you know, who was the king, he was considered the Black Panther. But he would also go and, you know, when somebody would do something that was anti-Uganda, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what they would do is they would go like the CIA, and they would go in and they would deal with those people, and they would send a Black Panther, the king, to go out there and, you know, battle or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and retrieve whatever was stolen from their country. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he was able to do things like, you know, fly and jump on top of cars. The same
thing. So tell me this, since you said, you know, he killed his brother, how did they differ then? Tell me that part.
Well, they was in America, and his father was the king first. So his father was in America, and his father was, you know, dealing with certain issues, you know what I'm saying, here in America. And they had some stuff called brahmia. You know, brahmia, we would call it uranium, but brahmia is some kind of chemical or whatever. So his brother, you know, was over here and he was doing dirty dealings. He was trying to sell their secrets. So he sent his cousin, who was a spy, to spy on his brother. So he found out that his brother was trying to do dirty dealings. So when he found out, his brother upped the strap, trying to kill the cousin. And then he did whatever he did because, of course, you know, he was a Black Panther. He had certain strengths and stuff, so he was able to, you know, take his claws and stick his claws in his chest, and he killed his brother. But, you know, the movie, I don't want to spoil the plot for everybody, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, the brother who he killed, his sons grows up and become a villain, you know, against the country.
Okay, so wait a minute. Would you saying that doesn't that kind of mirror real life? And when I say mirror real life, say a brother kills another brother. His family ain't gonna like the other side. He's like, man, he killed my daddy. I don't care. He's my uncle.
But see, that's what people are trying to emphasize.
Yeah.
It's the brothers and the few. But, you know, hey, man, we see fuel all day in America. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you want to talk about brothers killing brothers. Let's talk about the North and the South. Let's talk about the Civil War. Okay, let's talk about how white folks killed millions of white folks. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, people kill each other all the time. But that ain't the gist of the story. You know what I'm saying? The main thing that I got out of the movie Black Panther was that, you know, not from, because, you know, it's all fictional. From the perspective of the director's perspective. At the end of the movie, what he did is they ended up in Oakland, California, where the brother had got killed. He said, they asked him, they said, he took his sister. So the sister said, I thought we was going to go to, you know, I'm just paraphrasing. I thought we was going to go to Malibu or Venice Beach. He said, no, we in Oakland, California. She said, well, what is this? He said, these buildings. He said, we just bought all of these buildings, you know what I'm saying, and we for the turn them into youth centers and so on and so forth. So what I got for him is that Africans, you know, people who are in Africans, the real Africans in Nigeria and in Ghana, they need to come over and invest in America the same way the Chinese is doing, the same way the Japanese is doing. The Chinese own almost 30% of this country. The Arabs own another 20% of this country. America is for sale. America don't even own America. This country is primarily owned by other countries. You know what I'm saying? We over trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. So what the brother was saying, if the Africans came over here and they bought up all of these communities, which are for sale, and they built these communities and they took the expertise and the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding that they gained over in Africa, being free and autonomous, not being up under subjugation, not being up under, a rule in the criminal justice system, that they may be able to ameliorate or be able to, straighten out the problem. Because no matter how we look at it, because you remember, his brother was in America. His brother was talking about the criminal justice system and how, he's an African, but he's talking about what they're doing to the brothers over here in America. And then his son, who ended up becoming a villain, he was talking about how white folks stole everything, and then he stole the branium or whatever you call it from the museum. And when he stole the stuff from the museum, they said, "Why are you stealing from the museum?" He said, "Ain't that what y'all did? Ain't that what y'all did? Didn't y'all steal from us?" You know what I'm saying? How do it feel? So basically, what the whole concept that Brother Ryan was trying to do, he was like saying, "Look, man, you know what I'm saying? Y'all come from kings. You know what I'm saying? Y'all come from royalty. You know what I'm saying? Africa has a lot of gems and a lot of jewels that, we don't know what hidden jewels that are in Africa." And what he was saying was, look, you know what I'm saying, brothers in Africa, you know what I'm saying, y'all have advantage. You know what I'm saying? Other nations are coming here and buying, up this land. Why don't y'all come and buy up all of the ghettos, and then y'all could use the ghettos and like the Chinatown doing, and the Greek town and the Jewish town, the Jew town doing, and y'all could call it Little Africa.
But
let me finish.
Okay.
It's the beauty of the entire movie for those who are intelligent. See, I wrote the book, The Art of Human Chess, so I'm a chess player. So I'm checking out. I don't look at movies the way everybody look at it. I'm looking for the plot. I'm looking for the scheme, the strategy, the maneuver. You know what I'm saying? The brainwashing. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing. So that's what I'm saying, Brother Reek. I'm just saying that if people want to know what I got out of the movie, I got out of it, hey man, you know what I'm saying? We are a superior people, and and our brothers over Africa need to come, and they need to pay more attention to all this so-called dilapidated, useless land and build right here in America.
Okay, now with you saying that, you lived through the same time I lived through, and when I say this, I'm saying, you're saying the brothers of Africa, like they said in the movie, need to come over here and, start spending on America and buy, dilapidated buildings and places like that to rejuvenate the community. But back in 1995, Brother Mr. Farrakhan was going to get money from Gaddafi in the billions to start a black state. The president at the time, Bill Clinton, denied that. That could have changed all kind of things here, but it was denied.
But see, because Gaddafi was considered a terrorist. You see what I'm saying? He was considered an enemy state, And see what most people have to understand. And the Honorable Noble-Jordan deals with this issue. We can be either citizens or nationalized citizens. You know what I'm saying? Once we proclaim our nationality, once we link ourselves up with the human family, and we link ourselves up with our ancient forefathers, then we can go just like the Jewish people done. I have a business right there in Big T's. It's Africans, Indians, Arabs, and Koreans, and Asians. And most of them I talk to. And the first thing they tell me is like, yeah, I'm going back to Africa. I said, what you going back to Africa for? Because I'm trying to get money, and I have to pay for my cousin a visa so they can come back to America, and they can get visa, green card, and they can hopefully get a path to citizenship. Same thing with the Indians, same thing with the Arabs, same thing with the Chinese. All of them tell me the same thing, because they are nationalized citizens. They are hyphenated Americans. They are Chinese Americans. They are Nigerian Americans. They are Senegal Americans. They are, Palestinian Americans. So because of that, legitimately, they can go over there and they can talk to their rich cousins. They can invite their rich cousins over there. Their rich cousins can give them loans and make them money. They do it all the time. When you see the Howard Johnsons and the Best Westerns and the LaQuintas and all of them being owned and purchased by Arabs and by Indians, but you're seeing foreign money coming over from foreign countries and purchasing the real estate. It just has to be done according to protocol. If Gaddafi would have never been accused of blowing up that plane, they would have gave that money to Mr. Farrakhan with no strings attached, because America want other countries to invest in this country. They just don't want hostile countries they consider as terrorist states. And that's the problem why Minister Farrakhan was able to get the money. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to look at some of the investments, look at richest black men in the world, and they're gonna say Nigeria. And then look at some of the investments. You're gonna see some of them actually have investments in oil companies over here. Some of them have investments, like a couple of Africans that's over there in Nigeria. They own business. They own stock in Standard Oil. You know what I'm saying? They own Texaco Oil. You see what I'm saying? So it's not so much that you can't invest. It's just that you can't be a hostile country and you can't be considered a terrorist state.
Now, when you say considered a terrorist state, to me, this is what throws all that out the window. And when I say throws it out the window, is because we just talked about how Gaddafi was gonna start a black or African central bank over in Africa, and that's the reason why he got killed. Because all those Africans are going to come together and start
Still missing the point, though.
Too cool to count 24/7.